Okay, good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, September 28th. The hour is about 8:32 a.m. This is a select board meeting, essentially a continuation of our last meeting a week ago concerning warrant articles in anticipation of the October 3rd special town meeting. Let me invite everyone in the room, as we always do, to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so the only agenda item we have today is a continuation of discussion on the special town meeting warrant. We tabled a number of articles at our last meeting, and we wanted to address those in anticipation of the town meeting. So the town manager would have the select board's opinion. I believe the finance committee often benefits from our views, and most importantly, the residents of the community as we go into town meeting. So let me ask if there is a motion to take Article 2 off the table for purposes of discussion.
So moved.
All right, and for our recording secretary's benefit, the motion was offered by Ms. Wellman, seconded by Mr. Mackey. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The chair votes aye as well. So that's a 4-0 vote. And again, for our recording secretary's benefit, I'll note at the moment that Mr. Kratman is not present, although I do expect him. And when he does arrive, I will make note that he is present. So Article 2, Mr. Montori, do you want to lead off with any kind of high level? I know the biggest reason we tabled these articles was free cash had not yet been certified, and I think about 10 minutes after our meeting ended, it in fact was, so.
I gave the board the handout, supplemental handout for town meeting. On page 6, under Article 2, it gives you an explanation of free cash and the items that are going to be purchased with free cash. I think I went over those at the last meeting. But just to touch upon free cash itself, we had $10,201,198 certified as of July 1st, 2023. On page 17 of the handout, there's a chart that breaks down where free cash actually was generated from. 3.9 million of it is coming from the town budget turnbacks. Of that 3.9 million, 1.6 came from debt service that was not spent on the DPW facility. We had $308,000 turned back in health insurance, in the health insurance budget, less subscribers than we projected. $40,000 in our Medicare account, $74,000 in our property and liability account. And then the remaining 2.1 million came from salary and operating budgets within the town, from police, fire, DPW. And that's how, those are the main turnbacks for the end of the year. But again, the largest portion of that 3.9 was the 1.6 for debt service.
Mm-hmm.
The schools turned back $302,553. Assessments from the state were generated $74,838. Assessments were less than we projected, so that had a surplus. Our local receipts were $5,578,634 higher than projected. The main driver in that one was our revenue from interest earnings. We did not project interest earnings in FY23 because the previous year we actually had a negative due to the rates. So we had $1.3 million in interest earnings. That was a big part of that $5.5 million in additional revenue. We also had $943,684 in non-recurring revenue, which is reimbursements we received. We don't get them annually, so that contributed also to that $5.5 million. Real estate and personal property was $529,000 higher than we projected. And then there were some adjustments by DOR and some closeouts at the end of the year that generated the $10.2 million in free cash. That's it.
All right, thank you. All right, so those numbers now have settled, which traditionally would allow us to take action on these articles. And before I move forward, let me just note for our recording secretary, Mr. Kratman has now joined us, so good morning to you, sir. All right, so relative to Article 2, I know you already detailed in your commentary for the last, during the last meeting, we had the specifics pertaining to the 4 items noted. But we're proposing to transfer funds in the amount of $651,948 for the noted one-time capital expenses.
Correct.
I'll ask my colleagues if they have any further questions on those 4 items. They were discussed in detail last week, but, so I'm not sure if there's a need to revisit that, but if anyone wants more detail, we can speak to it. If not, may I ask for a motion on a recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we recommend adoption of Article 2.
Second.
Okay, so for the record, we have a motion offered by Ms. Wellman, seconded by Mr. Holland, to recommend adoption of Article 2. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, so that will be a 5-0 vote for purposes of the recommendation. May I have a motion to take Article 3 off the table for purposes of discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion's offered by Mr. Mackey, seconded by Ms. Wellman. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's a 5-0 vote with the chair voting in the affirmative. And we tabled this article. This would transfer 3.3 million of the 10-point-something million dollars in free cash for design, engineering, construction, and renovation of the DPW school maintenance facility. So do you want to speak to that one more time, Mr. Montoya?
Sure. This is, we opened bids for the DPW school maintenance facility back on August 16th. The low bid for the base bid was $23.2 million. We have enough funding from previous town meeting votes to undertake the base bid. We knew going in that the budget would be tight, so we had a series of bid alternates for the project. Bid alternate 1 for $2.9 million would move all of the offices from the current DPW building into the new building because in an effort to try to scale back the cost to stay within the budget that was appropriated, we weren't going to move all of the offices over. A large majority was staying in the current facility. We had bid alternate 2 for $2 million, which would have added storage to the vehicle storage to the new building. And then bid alternate 3 was $330,000 to add equipment to the vehicle maintenance area. The base bid was going to take care of all of the major issues that we had with the current facility and the need to build a new facility. It was going to create vehicle storage, vehicle maintenance, workshops, employee facilities, and it was going to include a wash bay attached to the old facility. After getting the bids and seeing the prices and having an idea what free cash would be, I put this article together to seek additional funding to allow us to move forward with alternate 1 to add all of the offices into the new facility. The current offices at the DPW building are a terrible work environment. They're not efficient. It'll be good to have all of the staff over in the new building together. And it just makes sense to get that work done now especially where we have the funding. We're not going to have to borrow any additional funds. This will come from free cash, a one-time expense, and it will get us in a position that the DPW facility has everything it needs moving forward.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. And Mr. Montori, if we didn't do this proposal, the existing office space, I assume, would still require some renovation. Is that right?
It would, but there's none planned.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it was just going to be as
So
it
we
is.
would be accepting the current conditions.
Yes.
Okay.
And the plan would be, just so you know, one of the things we've thought about in the future, if we can move the offices over, obviously create more efficiencies and better working conditions. And then that space, we really would like to create a large area of storage for the departments. Right now, everyone's limited in storage for their files, and we'd like to create a space where each department would have an area to put their files and have them in a safe and secure area than we currently have them in. Right now, the vault downstairs has items in it that really shouldn't be in the vault, and we just don't have enough space in this building. The police station is in need of space, so we'd like to create that type of space down the road.
Okay. Any other questions from my colleagues on this particular item?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Mr. Montori, so when this new building if we go with the, what we're talking about, alternate one, will all the vehicles be able to be stored in this facility?
I think most will be in, right? There may be some older ones that will still be outside, or ones, you want to speak to them?
Yeah. Come and take a microphone.
Thank you. For the record, Kevin Hardeman, Public Works Director. Mr. Chairman, through you to Mr. Kratman. The vehicles that are stored in the building will be the majority of the vehicles which are stored outside, the plows, plow trucks. There will be about 5 larger vehicles that won't be able to fit in. They would be able to fit with the alternate 2. But the equipment that will be outside would be trailers and the sanders mostly. But all the school vehicles and equipment will fit inside, and the vast majority of the 200 pieces of equipment the DPW has will be able to fit inside the building. Only about a handful will be outside.
Okay, don't go away. I got one other question. The wash bay that we're building, the wash bay will be suitable to wash all vehicles in the town? So fire trucks, everything will be able to go through this thing, or whatever we may have to be able to put through here? I know we have something over at the fire department to do some washing over there, but I just was wondering if this would handle all the vehicles, police vehicles, everything else would be able to go through this?
Yes, every town vehicle, including the larger fire apparatus and DPW apparatus, will fit and be washed in the wash bay.
Will this do undercarriage, or is this just a?
No, there's a separate undercarriage wash. As the vehicle drives in, that will get activated, and the undercarriage will be washed as well.
I know one of the difficulties with using calcium during the wintertime is because you couldn't use them because you had no place to wash the things to get. Calcium makes it a mess during the wintertime, and it sticks to the vehicles, and there's no suitable place to clean. So will you be able to use more calcium by using this, of putting the saddle tanks on the vehicles?
We do have saddle tanks on our sanders currently, and we do have a brine tank that we use, and we pre-treat the salt. But this will, like you said, it'll allow us to clean the vehicles better to make sure that they last longer.
After each storm, you're unable to, I'm thinking in existing conditions, you're unable to clean those things that have the salt all over them. So this will be able to, after each treatment, will you be able to rinse those vehicles off and make the trucks last a little bit longer? So-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no further questions, let me ask if there's a motion on a recommendation on Article 3.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to recommend adoption of Article 3.
Second.
All right, so the motion's offered by Ms. Wellman, seconded by Mr. Mackey. All those in favor of the motion to recommend adoption, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well, so that's a unanimous 5-0 recommendation. Moving along, the board previously tabled Article 5. Let me ask if there's a motion to remove Article 5 from the table for purposes of discussion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion offered by Ms. Wellman, second by Mr. Holland. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, that would be unanimous. And I think, again, this is a function of water retained earnings for 3 specific purposes.
It is.
You want to speak to that, Mr. Montori?
Sure, just quickly, again, at the back of the document, page 17 gives you an indication, page 18 gives you an indication of water retained earnings that was certified at $1,960,966. That was made up of the previous year's retained earnings that was not spent, gets rolled into the new certified retained earnings for FY '23. That amount was $1,247,763. There were budget turnbacks of $562,252. Of that amount, approximately $300,000 was from debt service not spent because we didn't borrow funds for the Astle Street water tank. Revenue from rates were above projections by $1,031,000. Last year, unlike this year, was a dry year, so we had a lot of water being used. Those were the large majority of what made up the $1.9 million in retained earnings. It was certified as July 1, and we're looking to spend it on these 3 items that we discussed at the previous meeting. 2 of the items are being split 50-50 with the sewer retained earnings.
All right, and we detailed what those 3 items were, and we obviously also previously recommended adoption of Article 4, which is the other 50% of those expenses, other than the tank cleanings. Does anyone have questions on Article 5? If not, may I ask for a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so motion made, I assume to recommend adoption?
Correct.
Okay,
Sorry.
it's being offered by Mr. Mackey. I don't want to presume that.
Nope.
It's being offered by Mr. Mackey, seconded by Ms. Wellman. All those in favor of recommending adoption, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I will vote in the affirmative, so that makes that a 5-0 vote. Okay, that brings us to Article 6, and again, we tabled this because we didn't know what certified free cash would be. So may I have a motion to take Article 6 off the table for discussion purposes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's offered by Mr. Mackey, seconded by Ms. Wellman. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, that's 5-0. So I think you're going to take us back to the big number, right?
Right, so the balance from the certified free cash that was $10.2 million, we're seeking to transfer it into the stabilization fund. Of that balance, we did set aside $600,000 for future snow and ice deficits that may occur, because we never know what the winter's going to be like. So after we after we take out this proposed spending at town meeting, $600,000 for free cash, the balance of $5,649,250 we are recommending be transferred into the stabilization fund. The current stabilization fund has $12,581,329 in it. By adding this amount, the balance will be $18,230,579. And that'll be available for any future one-time capital items that we have within our 5-year plan, as well as if there are any financial emergencies that come up over the next, few years, which we don't anticipate, but it's there in case.
Yep. And as we've always reminded everyone, moving money in or out of the stabilization fund requires town meeting action, and it would be a 2/3 vote. Okay, any,
In might be a majority, but I forget. Out is
that right?
definitely 2/3, yeah. I think they might have changed putting
all
in.
right, I'll defer to you on that. Okay. All right, so you'll offer an amendment to amend Article 6 with a specific
Yes.
number?
Yes.
And then we'll do that. So let me ask if there's a motion to accept the amendment or approve the amendment.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion made by Ms. Wellman, seconded by Mr. Holland to place or amend the article to add the specific sum of $5,649,250 to the article. Let me ask if all those in favor of that amendment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well, so that will approve the amendment. So now we need to ask for a recommendation on the article as amended.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to recommend adoption of Article 6 as amended.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Wellman offers the motion. Mr. Mackey seconds. All those in favor of the article as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well, so that's a 5-0 vote. All right, by my recollection, we took action on all other articles, so I don't think there's any further business that we need to tend to.
Mr. Chairman, could I just bring up 2 other articles that changed since we last met?
Sure.
On page 4 of the handout, Articles 16 and 17, since the board's last meeting. After looking at these lots that are in both these articles in further detail, Article 16, there are 3 lots that the deeds are not clear whether the town has clear title on them.
Okay.
So we want to do more research before we bring them forward, so we deleted those from Article 16. I spoke to the chairman of the Open Space and Recreation Commission, and he agreed, let's hold off until we have the deeds cleared up. And then on Article 17, Carter and Carpath Road, another issue with title. We're doing a title search on it also. So until that's cleared up, we'll pull that off.
Okay. Do you want the board to take action, or you're going to make a motion at town meeting to amend?
I was going to make the motion at town meeting, but I leave it to the board how they want
Okay.
to deal with
It
either
might
one.
be beneficial for the residents to know the board's position on it, so let me ask if there's a motion to take Article 16 up for discussion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, motion's offered by Ms. Wellman, seconded by Mr. Mackey. All those in favor of that, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll make that a 5-0 vote. And as I understand it, you are going to amend the article to strike Melrose Avenue, map 3 block 16, Melrose Avenue, map 3, block 22, and 61 Cynthia Road behind map 84, block 17.
Correct.
Okay. May I ask for a motion to amend the article consistent with what I just said?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion's offered by Mr. Holland, seconded by Mr. Mackey. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, that's 5-0. And on the article as amended, Article 16, I have a motion to recommend adoption as amended.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, the motion's made by Ms. Wellman, seconded by Mr. Mackey. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll record that as a unanimous vote. And Article 17, can I have a motion to remove Article 17 for discussion
So
purposes?
moved.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Motion's made by Mr. Mackey, seconded by Ms. Wellman. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, that's unanimous. And the amendment on this article is to strike Carter-Cartpath, map 104, block 1 from the article. Can I ask for a motion to approve the amendment?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Wellman, for offering the motion, Mr. Mackey for seconding. All those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye on that, so that's 5-0. And may I ask for a motion to recommend adoption of Article 17 as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's offered by Mr. Mackey, seconded by Ms. Wellman. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye, so that article as amended is recommended for adoption 5-0. Okay. All right, anything else, Mr. Montori?
No, the handout for town meetings on the website, I think it has a lot of good information in there to get people ready for town meeting, and I think we're ready to go. The only other thing I just wanted to mention, and I know it's been out on the website, we will be offering daycare services that night for any parents who may have childcare issues. Alphabest is going to run it for us, and we're looking forward to see how that works out.
Is that free daycare?
I believe so.
Okay. Just checking.
It's night care in this case, right?
Right.
Okay,
Night care, exactly.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, through you,
Yes, Ms.
to the
Wellman.
manager, we had said at the end of our last meeting that we were hoping to hear more from Terramore Drive about their HOA and so on, and I've spoken to a resident. I'm wondering if we've heard any more from the residents of the HOA, that they understand what this article is about, because the resident I spoke to seemed not to know.
So I'm meeting with some residents this afternoon
Okay.
to talk more about it. I understand there are some concerns with drainage and flooding, water some of them have had in their homes. And I think they want some more clarification on the HOA, what the town's responsibilities are with the road compared to what their responsibilities are as homeowners. So we're going to have that discussion today. But that really is between the developer and the homeowners, so we're really going to leave it to the developer and the homeowners. And I know the developers of the subdivision have been working through some issues and are committed to working through some issues with drainage. And we'll let the residents know that. But for the purposes of town meeting, we're really focused on accepting the layout of the road, not the drainage, right? That's part of the HOA, that's between the developer and the homeowners. And I'll get all their issues today, pass them on to the developers who have been responsive to any of their issues. And again, have committed to us and to the homeowners that they'll address all the issues. We do have a bond, I believe, still. Steve, is that right? Mm-hmm. So I think we'll be okay if there are any issues that come up. But my message to the residents today will be, no, neither the town nor the developer is going to leave them in a position where there are issues. So I think that's where we're at. So I think the issues have gotten confusing because of a road acceptance. And this is just the layout of the road and acceptance of the road that we're taking. But we'll follow up with any resident that has any discussions. Another resident you've talked to, we're going to talk to. I'm not sure who's coming today to meet with me, but I think they represent the neighborhood. And we'll see what the issues are, and I'll let the board know.
I passed on the phone number for that resident. Were you or Mr. Sadwick able to get back in touch with that person?
Not at the moment. We were trying to get as much information
Yeah.
on the issues as possible, so we intend to do that today.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I will note that we did vote to recommend adoption on that particular article, but obviously, we have another week or so, or 5 days until town meeting, so.
If anything comes up, I'll let the board know between
Thank
now
you.
and.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. All right, there's no other business. I think we are prepared for town meeting. Thank you for the handout in advance, and I think you mentioned it's already on the website.
On the website? Yep.
So residents can really get the full picture of all of the articles and the detail behind each item that's spoken to. And I'd encourage residents to take the time to review that in advance of town meeting. Let me ask if there is a motion to adjourn this meeting at 9:02 a.m.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's offered by Mr. Mackey, seconded by Ms. Wellman. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. We're now adjourned. Thank you and have a great day.
Thanks.